Good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. welcome. Just getting our sticky note ready here, so gotta find the right pen. Can't have any other pen than the right pen, right? All right, so what are we doing tonight? Oh yes, we're continuing on with the deposition here of Miss Laura Loomer. So let's put that out here. And I will do a little spoiler and say it's freaking hilarious. This deposition, just like I'm on the floor laughing most of the time. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Hello, Haley. Yeah, this is this may be the best deposition I've ever read in my life. As far as laughing out loud and falling off my chair goes. So we'll see how tonight goes. But yeah, I think this is an excellent example of two competent attorneys, or at least one, fighting with the other one. So that's pretty funny. All right. Now, happy Tuesday, or happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. It's been quite the day, I know. We had some visitors, right, at the White House today. There's been some very interesting posts up on Mr. Newsom as well. But, viewer discretion on some of those, dang. So, yeah, we're moving right along over here. Hello, Anita. Hello. Kristen, hey, you made it. Woohoo, yay. Haven't been too regular with these, so I need to get back to my regular scheduled program here. Hello, Willie B. Which one is the funniest, the speech or the depositions? The depositions by far. In the speech, when you go through and, pull his rhetoric apart, which I don't recommend doing unless you're a professional, there are things in there where you're like, wow, this can't really be happening. But when you have two attorneys fighting each other, that's really that's a home run right there. That's right, Steve. Kirby, hello. Welcome. TD Johnson, hello. Good evening, Nancy. Welcome back in. So I am trying to be more regular now with the lives here. We don't know what the future holds for us with this app going forward, but I would remind everybody I do have a Tube of You channel, and I try to do every Tuesday nights one guaranteed live stream, and I'll be doing more as time goes on, but we'll have to see how that goes. Hello, Kaya. Oh my gosh, Steve, I'm glad to be here. I'm just happy to be here. Hello, June Marie, Dolphin, Thomas, welcome. But I will be over on the Tube tomorrow, fingers crossed, as long as I can make that happen. The upcoming restrictions are wild. Well, perhaps. And I guess the thing is, I started on the talk believing that's what was happening. So everything I've done has been to kind of soften that. So for me, I'm not really worried, because I set everything up to be just in case there were these kinds of things going on. So you just have to have the right level of paranoia in order to prepare. Yeah, there's going to be some restrictions put into place. It looks like they're going to be cracking down harder on certain words that you're using and the formats that you're using, and also kind of making it so that, the government has easy access to see your information. Shenanigans, quite right. Yes, so I think this new update really that's coming to the community guidelines, I think is showing pretty clearly how they're handing the app off here. So freedom. Well, right. Now, again, I guess, and it could just be, because of my training, but, I always find an exception. So I know a lot of people are really frustrated with it, and I think rightfully so. I think the whole situation is ridiculous, all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court oppressing the First Amendment. So I don't know. We've been kind of walking through this journey together. So the same pokey together. Well, yeah. Can I request the jail cell with my friends? Put me with my friends. Do you mind? Oh my goodness gracious. All right, everybody. I hope you're ready to laugh because this stuff's hilarious. Oops, my cat is she having a sneezing fit? Or if you hear sneezes, it's my kitty. My kitty cat is over there. You can't lead to harm. Right. Which really I think is, I think that's okay. I'm not against that. I just, I don't like when the content starts getting X'd, you know what I mean? So we should all try to not do that. As I move my sticky notes, we can go through this. We can judge. All right, everyone. So just to remind you, Miss Loomer, and I'm going to say his name wrong. Was it you that told me how to say his name right? I can't remember. So Laura Loomer versus Bill Maher. Is that right? Maher? Maher? Right. Well, I'd have to get a pen so I could write on the walls. If I don't have cases up on a wall, I'm just going to go bonkers. Maher. Okay, Maher. Thank you. I'm going to put that here because I'm going to forget. All right. Thank you. Yes. So Bill Maher. All right. So Laura Loomer versus Bill Maher. Now, there's going to be some words in here that I'm not going to be able to say. But, I'll point to the word. So you should be okay. But apparently, Mr. Maher made some comments about Miss Loomer that she felt were incredibly derogatory and defamatory. So she is suing. Here's the lawsuit number here if you want to track it on the dockets on Court Listener. So that's happening. So part of what happens during the discovery phase of a civil action are depositions. Depositions and interrogatories are two of the biggest ways, along with production of documents. Those are the three primary ways of getting information. And just because you're not the one filing the lawsuit doesn't mean you can't have access to that information. So you just have to ask for it in the right ways. So this is a deposition being done of Miss Loomer herself. Now, anytime you have the subject of the lawsuit in a deposition, you want to make sure you try to keep that depo clean as best as you can. And if there are objections, you really have to have a plan for how to deal with that in the moment. So you're not calling the judge every 5 minutes because the judge doesn't like that. They don't care for that. They don't like that. I mean, they'll do it. It's their job, but they're not happy about it. So I have started already reading. So I've read through about the first 50 pages here. So we're picking up right where we left off the other night. Oh, thanks, Blue. I wasn't sure about these ones, but I'm liking them. They're growing on me. So anywho, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and pick it up on page 51. And I do want to ask, is the whole document in the frame, everyone? Because it looks like it is for me, but I'm worried. Yeah, 50 hilarious pages. Yes. Is it, okay, is that in frame? I'm just, for some reason my screens aren't matching up. Okay, thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. Yes. Okay, great. We'll try to keep it in frame. Oh, it's the doc. Yeah, could very well be. All right, here we go, everybody. Anything in blue is going to be Mr. Maher's attorney. And I did not highlight any of the others because it wasn't necessary for to understand this piece. All right, here we go. Diving in. At the last piece, so this is her last comment that she had made. So we'll start with her right here at the top. The fact that, I wasn't born into a wealthy family. I wasn't born rich. I'm not rich. I really worked hard as a young woman to have the kind of access that I had and to build my media company despite the adversity. I ran for Congress. President Orange had endorsed me. He voted for me. And I think a lot of people kind of resent the fact that I didn't just give up, right? After being in lawsuits with like some of the most powerful companies in the world. And I think that a lot of people would just like to see me go away and give up. But I kept on fighting. And I think the president admires that, right? He always talks about how he likes fighters. Oh my goodness. And so while there are people who are jealous of me, I think there's also like, I'm not a sycophant, right? So I report on stories, and I oftentimes, will call out what I perceive as vetting failures, or it's what a journalist is supposed to do. I mean, I'm not a propagandist or a mouthpiece. You're supposed to report the truth, and sometimes that involves being a bit critical. You think some of the people are a little jealous of your success in terms of, yeah, I do. And I think that they're jealous of the fact that President Orange likes me, like genuinely likes me as a person. And he said it multiple times at rallies. Okay, now he said, oh, she's a tremendous person. She's a wonderful woman. She's a patriot. I think that it bothers people. I think that a lot of people get jealous when they're not singled out. And I think a lot of media is jealous because, maybe they're like, oh, well, she's a journalist. How come the president, singles her out as opposed to us, right? I think the president appreciates the fact that I'm a genuine, nice person. And I can't read people's minds, but I would say that it's probably an element of jealousy. Okay, now I need to use the bathroom. So we've been going about an hour and a half. Yeah, let's take a quick break. What you will notice throughout all of this is that these two attorneys will be fighting each other, and it's going to crack me up. So, she couldn't just have to go to the bathroom. He had to, one-up her. Yeah, well, I got to super go to the bathroom. Oh, my goodness. All right, here we go. So, 5-minute break. All right, off the record. Now we're back on the record. Miss Loomer, are you married? No. Do you have any children? No. Do you currently have a romantic partner? Yeah, I have a boyfriend. Okay, and how long have you had that relationship? Objection, relevancy. We've been together for about 1 year. Okay, so that puts it what? What is today? June 2024, is that right? Actually, as of yesterday, because today's the 4th, right? Yes. Yesterday would have been 13 months together, so 1 year and 1 month. Okay, and I'm assuming you've never been unfaithful to your partner. Never. Objection, never. It's fine. I have no problem answering the question. I've never been unfaithful to my boyfriend, which is why these allegations against me by Bill Maher are also egregious, because at the time when they were made, I was in a relationship as I am now. What's the name of your boyfriend? I really don't want my boyfriend to be doxxed. We'll put that on the separate record. Oh, there's not going to be a separate record. Well, then you want the testimony? We can designate it as confidential, and we're not going to use it. Then you won't get, but not on this record. I want to keep the record separate so you can't gum it up. Mr. Clayman, it's not your deposition. You don't like it, go to the judge. You don't like it, go to the judge. I get a lot of unalive threats, and I've been swatted multiple times, and people have threatened to unalive me and my family also has been harassed and sent threats in the mail. And so I'm just going to remind you that the pending question, what's the name of your boyfriend? I understand, but let me be clear. What? I don't want my boyfriend to be doxxed. Let me be clear what the position is. I'm not asking for you not to have it on the record. What I'm saying is, if you want that kind of information, we just have the court. I'm saying is, if you want that kind of information, we just have the court reporter break it out. That's all. So I'm not part of this. Because this part, I'm happy to answer your questions about my relationship. I just don't want my boyfriend to be physically attacked by some crazy lunatic. And honestly, I think that's a fair request, in my opinion. Yeah. Here's the reason. Please stop making speeches. I understand your position. I'm a lawyer. Oh my God. That's right, sir. You are a lawyer. Good for you. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm a lawyer. I think your position is ridiculous and designed to gum up a deposition for no reason other than arbitrarily deciding that somehow, no, you don't. You get to control what I say. That's what bothers me about it. Yeah, and whatever speech you're about to do is not going to dissuade me. Well, I'm going to put it on the record. All right, let's do that. Let's put it on the record. Oh my gosh, hold on here a second. I've got a page flipped. And we cannot have that. So let's do this. Whether you like it or not. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Let's do this. Yes, I am. You're telling me you won't tell me the name of your boyfriend. That at the moment, but in a separate section of this deposition, which, I'm sorry, everyone, we've got to switch back. This one messed me up a little bit. So he interrupted defense counsel here, and she's saying at the moment, but in a separate section of this deposition, which, by the way, we're going to do after the 7 hours, because the idea that I have to accommodate you and don't get the extra time is preposterous. You will tell me the name of the boyfriend. Is that right? You don't get to decide that. I'm telling you that I will give you the name of my boyfriend, but I don't want my boyfriend to be doxxed and subjected to violent threats by people who don't like me. And so I would like to ask that his name not be disclosed publicly, but I'm happy to. I agree with that. And the reason is I'm happy to give you the name of my boyfriend. That's fine. I agree with that. And also, by the way, sometimes when you say that, sometimes when privately people's names get disclosed, it's dangerous to them. No, don't answer that question. That's vague and ambiguous. Answer the question. No, she's not here as a legal expert. When you're saying that when a private, don't answer the question, person's name gets used publicly, don't answer that question. I can pull them in jeopardy. Is that right? On everybody here. Yep, 44. Okay, we're at page 55. I'm not saying that I'm not speaking to the fact that I have been swatted. I have been subjected to violence and unalived threats. I have a lot of people who also, as a result of Bill Maher's attacks on me, have, been made to think that I'm some kind of a monster, especially because of the follow-up episode he did. I think it was 24 Things You Don't Know About Laura Loomer, where he, accused me of being a racist multiple times. And as a result of all of these attacks on my character and false accusations about me, I received unalived threats from people who have been put into a frenzy because they have seen this has been broadcast to millions of people. And, he was a very large audience. They have been made to believe that I'm some kind of a dangerous person. So I'm just going to interrupt again because a racist person. In fact, my question was, what's the name of your boyfriend? And what you gave me instead, and I'm asking, was an incredibly long explanation. I don't want somebody to, I'm talking. One at a time, please, one at a time. Miss Loomer, I am talking now. Yes. My question was, what's the name of your boyfriend? And you gave me a speech that's not appropriate and it wastes time. Because there has to be a protection. I'm still talking. One at a time. and you cannot talk when I'm talking. It's so unreasonable. I'm asking you. I don't want somebody to. It's how a deposition works. I'm happy to give you the name. Man, this is so wet, tease. Oh my gosh. Yes, indeed. Miss Loomer, you may not talk when I'm talking, deems the rules. I understand, but I'm asking something very reasonable. I told you that I will keep your boyfriend's name confidential. Okay, that's agreed. Okay, and we'll put it on some non-confidential portion of the transcripts. So this blank space is apparently where that information is. Okay, everyone. Oh my gosh. So what's his name? My boyfriend's name is Andrew. Wait, no, that's as far as you go. What's Andrew's last name? Not here, okay? Separate record. And what's Mr. Andrews' last name? No, she's not giving it here. We'll have a separate record of that. We're not going to gum up this deposition. You're trying to justify the fact that you unreasonably and in violation of the law want to keep everything confidential. We're not going to use her to make that point because Mr. Clayman, 99%, it must be exhausting. Let me finish, 99%. Having to think, don't talk over me. Please sound reasonable. 99% of what we're testifying to is you went down from 100%. It's not confidential. We'll give you that name. Yeah. It went down from 100. We'll get, other than Andrew, have you had any recent relationships? No, I assume you're talking about romantic relationships. Yes. No, I'm in a very committed relationship with my boyfriend, and I have been for 13 months. And before you were in a committed relationship with your boyfriend, Andrew, were you in another relationship? No. Objection, relevancy. And then we have confidentiality portion of the transcript here. Oh my goodness gracious. I know. All right. Is this your first one? No. Have many other romantic relationships? How many other romantic relationships have you had? I don't know. No. Relevancy, harassment. Not many. I'm very busy. I don't really have time to date. And I wasn't even trying to date during the election season. I met my boyfriend unexpectedly. But I went into the election season saying I wasn't going to have a boyfriend because, quite frankly, I don't really have the time to date. And I wasn't soliciting a romantic partner when I met my boyfriend. I just, like the guy, you never know when you're going to meet your boyfriend or your, future spouse. So I was really against being in a relationship because I'm very busy. But I had the fortune of meeting somebody that was very understanding of my schedule and not demanding, and it just happened that way. And then we have this portion that is not on the transcript again. Okay, you testified that you've not been unfaithful to Andrew, and I assume you would say that I think you said, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating it, that you've also never have been unfaithful to anybody else. Never. More confidentiality in the transcript here. In fact, you think it's defamatory to say that someone commits adultery, right? Well, in my case, Bill Maher has no understanding of my personal life. He was reckless with the regard to the fact that I, have a boyfriend, and he has no evidence that I had the sex with President Orange. Gotta be careful with the words here, okay? We're gonna be careful. We're tiptoeing through a minefield here, everyone. All right. And he has no evidence that I had sex with President Orange. It's just outrageous. And so, as it relates to my situation, yes, it's defamatory. Well, I'm not married. I have reported on political affairs, like actual political affairs with documented evidence. But there's no evidence in this case. And I have never slept with a married man. I've never had sexual relations with President Orange, and I've never been unfaithful to my boyfriend. But you actually brought this lawsuit saying that word, accusing someone of adultery, is itself defamatory per se, defamatory by itself. And calling a woman, well, you have to be, wait. I'm going to answer, I'm going to ask my question. Everybody let me finish my question. Just stop, okay? I will make another objection. All right, you brought this lawsuit saying that simply calling someone an adulterer is defamatory on its face, right? I object. That's not what has been pled. No, but you don't get to testify. You get to object. Please answer the question. I object. That mischaracterizes. Good. Objected the lawsuit. You've objected. All right. What's your name? I'm sorry. What's your answer, Miss Loomer? And it's harassing. I brought this lawsuit, this defamation lawsuit, because against Bill Maher at HBO, because he falsely accused me of FUCKing, which is another term of having sex with President Orange. And I have never effed or had sex or had any romantic involvement with President Orange or any married man for that matter. But I mean, is he married though? I mean, I'm just put that out there. But is he? I know the attorneys are just on fire. And it gets even better. All right, here we go. And you think it's defamatory to say that someone has a relationship outside their marriage, right? It's defamatory for Bill Maher to accuse me of having sex with President Orange. President Orange has had a lot of adulterous affairs, hasn't he? Objection. Bill Maher defamed me while he accused me of having sex with President Orange. So that's not responsive to my question. My question was, President Orange has had adulterous affairs, hasn't he? There's no foundation for that. There's no foundation for that. I'm not here to speak under oath for President Orange. I'm speaking about myself and the fact that I have never been unfaithful to my boyfriend, and I've never had sex with President Orange. Okay, but I didn't ask you that question, and I was accused of having sex with President Orange. So now I'm going to have to answer my question, because that's how this is going to work. Is I'm going to ask a question and you're going to answer them. So it's not relevant to the case, because this is about Bill Maher falsely accusing me of myself engaging in adultery, which is sleeping with a married man. And I have never ever slept with a married man, and I have never had the sex with or had any kind of romantic involvement with President Orange. And I've never been in the same room alone with President Orange. And I filed this lawsuit because it was broadcasted to millions of people by Bill Maher that he says I had sex with President Orange. All right, that's a lot to get through. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to ask to strike all of that. I'm going to remind you that you don't get to strike anything. If you keep answering, I answered your question. Every question inappropriately is just going to, that is an enormous bologna sandwich. It's not inappropriate. Bring you back for a second day of deposition. It's not inappropriate. So let me now ask the question I asked. Are you aware that President Orange was unfaithful to his wife, Ivanka, with Marla Maples? Presumes facts, not in evidence. Jeez. It has been reported that President Trump had been divorced several times, and that he'd been unfaithful to Ivana Trump and Marla Maples, correct? Same objection. I was never present, nor did I ever witness President Orange be unfaithful to any of his wives. And it's your position as you sit here that you should never report that someone does something sexually unless you're personally aware of it, right? Objection, misstates testimony. I don't think that's actually... I see all these objections and I'm like, I'm not sure that's a proper objection, but whatever. I'm answering questions about the defamation committed against me. And I answered your question about President Orange. And I have never witnessed President Orange be unfaithful to his wife, Melania. And I have never had sex with President Orange. Boy, she's really saying that a lot of times. This is, that's really disturbing to her. Oh, better than Maddow? Oh, what a compliment. Thank you so much. All right, here we go, because it's going to get even, it's going to get even crazier, everybody. Buckle up. And as you sit here as an investigative journalist who so holds herself out as reporting the truth, is it your position that you should never report on someone's sexual behavior without facts that substantiate your reporting? Objection, irrelevant. It's my position that I never had sex with President Orange, and it's my position that Bill Maher defamed me when he broadcasted twice to an audience on September 13th of 2024, on September 20th of 2024, that I had sex with the President Orange, and that President Orange was not sleeping with his wife, Melania, and that I was a groupie, and that I was having an affair with the president. I'm here today to answer those questions about defamation committed by Bill Maher. Okay, I'm going to... And she's really saying it a lot. Yeah, she's really saying it. That one really bothered her. I'm going to move to strike that answer as non-responsive because it was. Which, by the way, the fact that it's still here in this transcript means it wasn't stricken. Hee. All right. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you again. Harassment. It's not relevant to the lawsuit. She responded. It's a question. There's no pending question, Larry. You can't accuse me of harassing when there's no pending question. Wait, the record speaks for itself. The question is it your position sitting here as an investigative journalist that you should not report on the sexual behavior of someone unless you have hard facts that support the description of the conduct that you are reporting on? Objection. It's my objection. Compound question. Irrelevant. Goodness gracious. Go ahead, Miss Loomer. It's my position that the facts show that I have never had romantic relationship with President Orange. And the facts show that I have never had sex with President Orange. And I have never been alone in the same room with President Orange. And I have never been a witness to President Orange ever being unfaithful to any of his wives. Any of his wives, because there's so many. I have never witnessed that with my own eyes. And I have never had sex with President Trump. Now that's 3 times in her response. Oh, I've never had this, right? And then we've never been alone together. And then down here again. That's a lot. Right? That's a lot. So I'm going to, again, move to strike that answer as non-responsive. And I'm going to actually just put you on notice. And I'm going to move to compel you to answer the question that I asked because it's relevant and I'm entitled to an honest response. So I'm going to give you one more time. You know what? To answer my question, stop badgering her, which is, my question is, make our day. Make our day. Oh my God. Is he really saying that? So opposing counsel saying, make our day. Make my day. Why? This is crazy town. What is happening here? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to need to take a drink of tea here. Just, what? All right. Professional. I'm professional. Oh my gosh. All right, back to defense counsel. So she's saying, oh, we got to go back because she's still talking and he's talking. So she's saying, which is, my question is it your position of an investigative reporter divorced from facts of this case as you sit here is your position as an investigative journalist who holds herself out as reporting the truth that a journalist should not report on the sexual behavior of another person without personal knowledge as to that sexual behavior? That's 5 questions, compound questions. You can answer objection as to form, irrelevancy. Great. Miss Loomer, please answer the question. It was my position that my reputation as an investigative journalist has been damaged by Bill Maher's false accusations that I had the SEX with the Mr. Orange. And he has no evidence whatsoever that I had the SEX with President Orange. And I'm here today to answer questions about whether or not I had the SEX with President Orange, because that's why I filed this lawsuit. Because I have been smeared as a whore and as a groupie and as a bimbo. Who says bimbo anymore? Is that still up for usage? Is that still available for people to use? And I'm not working in the White House now because of Bill Maher's false accusations against me, in which he stated that I had an affair with President Orange. Is there a reason you're scared to answer my question? Objection. And I'm not scared to answer your question. That's harassment. I'm just not going to give fodder to any idea or insinuation that I have ever been unfaithful to my boyfriend, or that I use my sexuality or have, used my, my looks or my body to advance my career. Is the reason you won't answer my question because you frequently report on people's sexual behaviors without any basis? Objection. Or you don't want to be caught? Objection. Compound question, irrelevant. I take offense at this. You are a woman, okay? You are beating up on a woman who was falsely accused of adultery. Good Lord. Just answer the question, Miss Loomer. Okay, this is despicable conduct. Sure. Answer the question, Miss Loomer. I filed this lawsuit because Bill Maher falsely accused me of what he said was effing President Orange, and he has no evidence that I'm having SEX with President Orange. And I answered the question. There's nothing I'm going to ask you to mark as Exhibit 3. Oops, sorry, wrong voice, everyone. Hold on. Back up the truck. Backing it up. Beep, 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 beep. All right. Let's start here again. All right, so a woman who was falsely accused of adultery, and then her response was, just answer the question, Miss Loomer. Okay, this is despicable conduct. Sure. Answer the question, Miss Loomer. I filed this lawsuit because Bill Maher falsely accused me of what he said was effing President Orange, and he has no evidence that I'm having SEX with President Orange. And I answered the question. There's nothing. I'm going to ask you to mark as Exhibit 3 a tweet. Nothing else. There's nothing else. That we're done, Miss Loomer, with the speech. Okay, we're going to mark as Exhibit 3. I'm answering your question. You just don't want it. All right. You're going to mark as Exhibit 3 a tweet of yours from July 26th of 2023. Exhibit 3 was marked for identification. Oh, shoot. I have that. Okay. Miss Loomer, do you recognize this tweet? Yes. Okay. Could you read it to me? Quote, another note from President Trump tonight. I love him so much. He fights for us, so we fight for him. Hashtag these things, which I think would screw up my algorithm. Hashtag. Great. And there's an image there of, I guess it's a tweet from you that the president has written a note on. Is that correct? Yeah, it's a tweet, and the president doesn't email. And the president doesn't really like to do any electronic communication. It's like does he use pigeons? Is it like, what the Oh my goodness gracious. Here, what is this? Madness. I'm sorry, I'm recovering, everyone. Forgive me. A moment. Okay. All right. Whew, professional. Yeah, it's a tweet, and the president doesn't email, and the president doesn't really do any electronic communication. And so he's known for printing out tweets that are presented to him from his staff. And he generally writes, his notes in Sharpie. How is this real? Oh my God. All right. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. And he generally writes, his notes in Sharpies. That's how he communicates for the most part. And then the staff send it over, or they will personally mail it to you as well. So oftentimes you'll get literal manila envelopes in the mail with your printed tweets with the notes from the president. So yeah, he wrote, Laura, this is amazing. I'm posting on Truth, and it's a video of me confronting disgraced former FBI Director James Comey. And you say the words, another note from President Orange. Have you gotten many notes from President Orange? Objection, relevancy. Well, I've posted this image, and as I said before, sometimes the staff will either mail notes or convey notes. So the answer to my question is yes, you've gotten other notes from President Orange. Yeah, about my reporting. About how many? I don't know. I don't count them. A few. I mean, he's posted my reports on Truth Social. Did you say you've gotten 20 notes? Maybe 15 or so. When was the last time you got one? Before the presidential election? Before the presidential election, I believe. It was mostly during the primary. And it was mostly, like I said, during the primary, which is when this July 26, 2023. Okay, I'm going to, I honestly don't remember the last time. I do know though that do you post every time you get a note from him? No, I haven't. I didn't post all of the notes I received. Do you keep them? I have some of them. Where do you keep them? I have them in a folder, in a box that I had that it's like a manila envelope. I try not to take them out because it's historic in my opinion. It's like a box that I have or had. I don't know. And they're like manila envelopes. And I keep them in the original envelopes that they were sent in. Because you think they're valuable? Well, they're sentimental. I mean, it's not every day that you get recognized by the President of the United States for your journalism. And I find great pride in the fact that the President said my video confronting the former FBI director who's now under investigation for threatening to unalive the president, which is a felony, I should hope so, sent me a note. Great. I'm going to ask you to ask the court reporter to mark as Exhibit 4 another tweet of yours. And then it actually contains a video. So we're going to, Exhibit 4 was marked for identification. And I said, I love him so much. Look at the video. He's the greatest president ever. I think he's great. I love Mr. Orange. Here you go, Mr. Clayman. This is it? Do I need to, it needs to be noted? It just needs to be marked. That was 3. Nope, 4. The prior one was 4. The prior one was 3. 3, yeah. This one I just handed you. Yeah, Exhibit 4, okay. So sorry, what's this? There's a lot of audio visual. So for the record, Miss Loomer, the document I just handed you is a tweet that you tweeted on August 13th of 2023. Can you read it to me? It says Loomer, and then there's like an emoji. They're supposed to be like indicate I'm sitting next to him. Quote, orange, best president ever. I love him so much. And that's just so you know that the reason I asked you to read, it's my cowardice in not knowing how to read out loud what that emoji was. So thank you very much for telling me what the emoji was. It's like, it's supposed to be like, I think they're like joining hands where it looks kind of like two fists coming together, and it's like an emoji that's like conveyed when like there's like a you know, I don't know, like two people sitting together. It's just a common emoji that's used online when you're like either showing a video of two people sitting together, or it looks like two fists that are kind of like going like this together. So like holding hands, right? I mean, I guess, but it's not like romantic holding hands. It's more like, you know, oh, you're like united in like a shared cause, right? It's supposed to be like a unity emoji. Do we know which emoji she's talking about down there, chat? Can you put the emoji up for me? Can somebody spam the emoji that we're talking about? Oh, there's oh my good. Oh, okay, thanks, Jackie. Okay. All right, so all right. This no, I think it's the two hands, and they make the heart. What in the sweet valley? Chris, excellent question, one I cannot answer. Okay, all right, good enough. So, I shouldn't ask the chat for more emojis. You never know what you're going to get when you ask that question. All right, here we go, back in it to win it, everybody. All right, it's not romantic, right? It's supposed to be like a unity emoji. Okay, there's a video here, and I'm unified with President Orange. Okay, and there's a video. You'll see from the image I handed you. You can see that there's a video, correct? Yeah, it's from his golf club. That's from August 13th. I actually had just given a speech to the New York Young Republicans, and I went the next day to Bedminster because they were having, I believe it was the Live Golf Tournament, and I had never been. I'm really not into sports at all, but I know that President Orange is. And I have some friends, my friend Paul Ingracia, who just got appointed by President Orange to work in the administration. He and I and his sister and some of my family and other members of the New York Young Republican Club decided that we wanted to go to the golf club. And so I just had a regular ticket, and I was standing on the side of the golf course. And President Orange is known to like drive around in his golf cart. And he saw me and he was like, oh, it's Laura. She's a fantastic journalist. And there was a witness to this, right? Like I said, I was there with Paul Ingracia, who now works for President Orange in the administration. President Orange's secretary, Natalie Harp, was there. Media was there. It was widely reported. And he was just talking about how he thinks I'm great. And I think like he even was like, oh, I love this girl. She's amazing, right? Like she does such great work. And I got a photo with him. And then as he was in the golf cart, he turned around and told Natalie, and he said, make sure that she gets to come up to the suite. Oh my gosh, everybody. I'm having really bad PTSD with Stormy Daniels at the moment. Oh dear. This is really, I'm feeling triggered. Right? Yeah. All right, here we go. And then he said, how many people are you here with? Your friends are more than welcome to come up to my private suite. Where he was hanging out with all the pro golfers. And there were some, like donors and club members. Stranger danger. True. Stranger danger, people. Oh my gosh. All right. And so, I mean, it was shocking because, I'm not a donor and I'm certainly not a member of his club. And it's not every day that the President of the United States invites you and your friends. Well, it might be every day, come to think of it. And he literally invited all of us. There was about 5 of us: Paul, his sister, I think his mom, and then 2 other people, I think, from the Republican club, or one other. I don't remember exactly, but we were all there. And we got to sit, that room right there is his suite. And there were, about 10 other people, 15 people in the room. It was very private. I mean, it was very exclusive. And then there's a balcony door that oversees the golf tournament that was taking place at his Bedminster club. And so we filmed the video and I was sitting next to him. He got a Sharpie in his hand. He was signing hats because I said, "Oh man, Mr. President, look at all these people outside. You're so popular. Everybody loves you. You're the best president ever." And I said, "You should sign all these hats that are sitting here and throw them off the balcony. People would love that and the media would go crazy." And I said, and he said, "Laura, that's actually a really great idea." And he signed about 50 hats and then proceeded, as we filmed this video, to walk onto the balcony where he threw a bunch of the hats and he had his staff film them. And if you look at all the dates from when this video was published, you'll see the video online of him throwing hats to supporters. So yeah, I mean, I said I love him. I love President Orange. Millions of Americans love the president. You can love your dad, doesn't mean you're sleeping with your dad. Ooh, why'd we immediately go to that scenario? Oh, sorry. You can love your mom, doesn't mean you have to have a mutual relationship with your mom. I love my dogs. It doesn't mean that I'm committing bestiality and effing my dogs. Oh my God. That one snuck up on me, everybody. That one snuck up on me. I'm gonna need a second. Here. I'm gonna need some tea. Oh my gosh. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna take a moment here. I'm gonna get a lozenge and a little drink here. I was not expecting that. All right. I was surprised. I was really surprised. Wow. Okay. Animal abuse alert. How is this real? Oh my gosh. All right. Here we go. Here we go. I'm not going to read this because that's crazy. So next, defense counsel. Oh my gosh. All right, defense counsel. Can we just watch the video? So I'm going to, yeah, you can play it. So let's play the video. Go ahead. Yeah. Of Liv. Video played. Oh my goodness gracious. And you posted that, right? Yeah. Great. It's a great video. It's amazing. I mean, again, it's pretty cool that the president invited me to go to his private suite and then he called me opinionated. He says I'm special. Oh, you are special. It's awesome. It's probably one of the most exciting moments ever. Great. I mean, it's awesome. I meant everything I said in this video. Okay, just as I'm going to ask the court reporter to mark as Exhibit 5, another tweet, which I think is from the same day. And just for the record, this is a tweet from you, August 13th, and it says, President Orange invited me to sit with him inside his private box at Bedminster to watch the Live Golf Tournament. Do you see that? Yes. And I just said, too, You posted that, correct? Yep, that's from the same video. That's like a wider shot, and you can see my testimony is accurate because he's sitting there with a ton of hats with a Sharpie in his hand. And you can see the suite and the drinks of like the soda machine behind us. And you can see the reflection of people sitting on the balcony. So everything I said was accurate about him signing the hats. And and there's no one with you guys in that picture, right? Well, they're going to the side because I wanted, my own photo. Objection. You know this is so offensive. You know. You can see, but you can clearly see somebody in the corner. But like I said, there's witnesses. Your lawyers, like, you can easily ask Paul in Ingracia. Objection this, but it's fine. There's literally no pending question. It's fine, Larry. You know it's okay. I'm putting I'm putting an objection. Oh my goodness. Mom, I'm going to need you to click out if you're here, okay? This is too much. All right, so there's no pending question. This is so offensive. I've been to Bedminster too. I've been with the president. Doesn't mean I'm sleeping with the president. What the H? You can't say that in a deposition. And then defense counsel, there's no pending question, Mr. Clayman. Yeah, but like I said, I don't have anything. It's an insinuendo, and you're trying to smear her in the context of this deposition. But there were witnesses. Like I said, you could ask any of the staff. Hey, Miss Loomer, there's literally no question pending. No one should be talking. Okay, I will just say it's pretty obvious someone's taking a photo. So there is someone else in the photo. There's two people, the person taking the photo. Again, there's no pending question. You are not permitted to speak. I will move to strike speeches that are made not in response to the question. All right, okay. You have this one? It's okay. I'm going to ask the court reporter to mark it. Exhibit 6, another tweet from that day. So I'm going to have to give you a photocopy of this at the break, but you're welcome to look at it. So Exhibit 6 is another tweet from you from August 13th of 2023, starting from here. This is different form of it, Larry, but I can get you the real one at the break. This is Exhibit 6. Yep. And Miss Loomer, this is your tweet, correct? And it had 4 pictures embedded in it. Yeah, okay. And it begins with the sentence, today was the best day of my life, right? Yeah, it was a pretty cool day. Okay, is that still the best day of your life? Larry, this is the tweet. I have had a lot of really great days of my life since then. Like the election. I'm really glad President Orange won the election. So election night was probably the topper in that. Okay, I'm going to ask the court reporter to mark as Exhibit 7, another tweet of yours from August 14th. Here you go, Larry. Larry. Came for the record, Miss. I prior on your, I think 2 questions ago, that when President Orange, got out, was leaving his golf cart, he turned around and said, quote, oh, get her to come right over, end quote. And he came over and invited me to his suite. And he was saying how great my work was, right? I did say that he was telling people, oh, she's amazing. She does such great work. And this was a photo of him talking. He talks with his hands. Well, that's thrown me for a loop. All right, so hold on a second here. And I gave him a hug, and I kind of remember it was funny, like Secret Service kind of like grab my hand, because it's taboo to grab the president of the United States. And he was like, no, it's fine. And he actually gave hugs to several people. Oh my gosh, gross. He's a very nice guy. And so that's a photo of me looking up, talking to him. And he's like looking down and he has his hands up and he's like, oh, you do some of the best reporting ever. So, and there's an emoji. Yeah, what emoji? It's an emoji with the heart eyes because it was awesome. I mean, this was, aside from what's the date on this? This was August 14th. So aside from meeting him in his office at Mar-a-Lago, this was one of the only other times, from the time in March up until August that I was able to, sit down with him and talk with him in person. And so I posted the heart eye emoji because it was just such an amazing moment. So it was like a very exciting moment for me. I loved it. I loved the fact that it felt really nice to be appreciated and publicly recognized in front of so many people. And you can clearly see the barricade too. Like they kept some of the people behind the line. And the fact that he let me pass the line, it meant a lot to me. Because, he's the most powerful man in the world, praising me for my work. And it was just exhilarating. Okay, I'm going to unidentified speaker. Do we have an actual still of this? Okay, I'm going to ask court reporter to mark as exhibit 7, 8 at 8. Is it called a truth when there's a post on Truth Social? Yeah, a truth post. Yeah. So a truth post by Mr. Orange that says, thanks, Laura, 1 second. And have you seen this before? Yeah. Okay, we're going to play the clip of it and let me go ahead. It's very low. Can you turn it up? Yeah, very low. You should be recording this. It's very hard to hear. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, pause it. I mean, I know what the video says, but I know where this is going, but can you see what the volume of the computer's at? Unidentified speaker. The volume is all the way up. It's in audio. I don't know why it's not playing. Unidentified speaker. Should we take it off the things and just show her? Sure. And see if this makes it better for you. Yeah, that's fine. This is very entertaining. Do we have popcorn? We can watch all this. Man, this guy's something else. It's fine. I've seen the clip before. I'm being facetious, irrelevant, but entertaining. Did you give that interview, Miss Loomer? Yeah, great. And the accurately reflects what you said? Yeah. It speaks for itself. Okay. I mean, like I said, when I say dating, dating can construe a lot of things, like going out for dinner with someone. I mean, I'm very clever. Like, I don't date a lot. I'm in a very committed relationship. Oh no, everybody. Hold on. Hold on. Stay with me here. I mean, when you read this stuff, you never know what's going to happen. You just never know. All right, there we go. All right, back again. Back again. Getting sodas at the mall shop. Ah, that's funny. I am very clever. Can't we say that? I mean, if you're clever, shouldn't you be allowed to say that? Oh, my goodness. All right, let's jump back into it here. Okay. All right, yeah, let's jump back in here. Here we go. So this is Loomer. I mean, like I said, when I say dating, dating can construe a lot of things, like going out to dinner with someone. I mean, I'm very clear. Like, I don't date a lot. I'm in a very committed relationship throughout my early 20s. I just turned 32. What? I've not had many boyfriends, and the reality is that I'm a very career-centered woman. I'm 32. My main focus wasn't getting married and having kids. All right. I care more about my work than I do about having a romantic partner. And I waited to find somebody who would accept the fact that I want to be very successful. And just for the record, my only question was, no, I know, but did you give that interview? I did give that interview, but I'm explaining that. Okay, great. So then my question is, what was the don't interrupt her? What was the don't interrupt her name of the individual who you referenced? Honestly, I don't remember because they were so unimportant to me. I mean, when I say that they're not important, I really mean it. Like, a lot of men want to date me, obviously, because I'm a very high profile person. And I can imagine that I get hit on a lot. I don't really care for it because I'm more focused on my mission. Okay, going to ask the court reporter to mark as Exhibit 9, assuming I'm counting right, another tweet of yours, marking as Exhibit 9. Oh, I'm sorry, that's mine. Just give me one more. Here you go. Sorry, thank you. Okay, Exhibit 9 is a tweet from you on January 16th of 2024. Can you read it for me? Yeah, it was a quote tweet of the photo of me. What day is this? This was okay. So this was the day after. Maybe it was the night after the Iowa caucus. It was Iowa caucus, and it clearly said Iowa. And it's a photo of me behind the stage giving President Orange a hug right after he had won the Iowa caucus in a blowout victory. And it says, I just love him so much, not in a weird way. I just really love President Orange. He's the most amazing person ever, and it makes me so happy every time I see him or watch his speeches. He's the fighter that we all need, but many don't deserve him. He deserves the best. He's my favorite. And then, yeah, it's a quote tweet of the post. Yeah. Okay, do you know Randy the Savage? Yeah. Okay, is it a friend? Yeah, her name is Rihanna, and she's the wife of Brendan Dilley, who is another, he has something called the Dilley Meme Team, and they make a lot of memes, political memes, and President Orange shared their content a lot during the campaign. And so we became friends, and she just commented on the photo. It was a photo I posted from the Iowa caucuses. Okay, I think it was from the 15th, though, if I'm not mistaken. And then she made the comment on the 16th. But if I recall correctly, I think the Iowa caucus was on the 15th of January. But that is my post, and I did say all of that. Great. You were at the Republican National Convention, right? Yeah. How did that come to pass? So I actually flew with President Orange to the Republican National Convention. It was actually the day after he was almost unalived in Butler, Pennsylvania. The president had communicated with me through the staff that he wanted me to. I broke a story, I believe, about Kamala having a campaign event in a spice shop called Penzi Spice Shop. I believe that's the name of it. And I was talking about how the owner of the spice shop was very radical, like posted a lot of anti-Trump things. And that the people that had been there for this, like, very staged event with Kamala were staged. These people were Democrat Party volunteers, and I exposed it. And the president, loved the story. It was so funny. It was all over social media, and it went super viral. And so did the president. And so the president was like, oh. And so the president was like, oh, do you want to go to the Republican National Convention? And I was like, I would love to. I was going to go anyway, and I was going to bring my team with me, my staff, and cover it and live stream it. And so I would love to. He's like, great, connect with my staff and you can fly there with us. Was that conversation on the plane? Yes. He called you? Yes, but through the phone of a staffer, I believe. So he called me from the plane, from the staff, like the staff he sometimes would use his staff's phone. He will have the staff call and then he will grab the phone. So the staff, I think, is what, his secretary or so. I don't remember who exactly, but they were on the plane and then the president grabbed the phone. May have been Susie Wiles, but the president grabbed the phone and then invited me because they were showing him the story that I had just broke while they were on the plane. And on his plane, you can make phone calls. It's not like a regular plane. You can make phone calls from the plane. So he invited me. And I believe this was like a week before. And obviously, nobody knew what was going to happen the next week. And then Butler happened on July 13th. And I was watching the rally on live television, and I was getting I was getting my hair done, I believe, watching it live on my phone, because I knew I was going to be flying very early in the morning, because I had to fly from Florida to New Jersey and then go to Bedminster. And that's where they were going to be leaving from. You had to like meet in the motorcade. And I was watching it and I was like, oh my God, I can't. They just did something. And I thought that he had unalived, because all said you saw the blood and you saw him fall to the ground. And at that point in time, I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely not going now because the president has unalived. And then the president got up and they rushed him off stage. And, I thought, okay, well, they're definitely going to cancel the Republican convention now. But I never heard from anybody. And so I just assumed that the travel plans were still intact. So I packed a bag and I still flew to New Jersey. And I flew to New Jersey. And I took a cab to Bedminster. And I believe I was in the car with Meredith O'Rourke, who was the fundraiser for President Orange, because I had texted her about it, and she was also going to be going to the RNC convention. And I was like, oh my God, it's just assumed that the plans were still intact because nobody contacted me. And we met at the airport, and then we took the same car to Bedminster. And then I was on the plane, and they allowed me to travel with the president to Milwaukee the very next day. I mean, I was shocked. The president had a bandage on his ear. He'd just been SHOT'd and he still traveled. I was fully expecting them to cancel the trip, but I flew to the Republican National Convention with President Orange. And then when you got to the Republican National Convention, did you have a specific access to President Orange, or no? I had a floor pass, but I had put in a request for that months prior. And with that, my friends, I will pause our reading for tonight, because this kicks off into another set of questions over the Republican convention, which will make a great next level live. So, oh my goodness, look at all the people in here. Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. So how are we feeling about this? And we laughed and we laughed and we laughed some more. We certainly did. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Real Life Works from Illinois. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I tell you what, Haley, we have just got to chuckle. We've got to find the chuckles as best as we can. So absolutely we do. There's, oh my gosh, I will never look at a Sharpie the same way again. It's like, what? What is happening here? Of course. No, we haven't, Neil, we haven't hit the Arby's part yet. This is all, just made for TV excitement, and we haven't even reached the Arby's moment. So that's crazy. No, there's just so much. There's so much involved in it. I cried. It was better than Cats. Chris. Very entertaining. Yes. Well, yes. Boy, her attorney, though, he's Mr. Machismo. And, there have been many times where I've been in depots with other attorneys. I don't think it matters if they're male or female, or whatever. It's just, they're on you. They're just in your space, trying to control everything. And you gotta stand up and say, I'm not doing this anymore. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Big ego. Right. Or sore from rolling so many times. Get some eye drops, everybody. Get some eye drops. It's not worth harming yourself. How many times did she? Oh my gosh, Crafty, I'm telling you. This, I did not have, the whatevers with the whatever fella. That was really, really offensive to her. And so she really was nailing that home. So she starts making up stuff. Yeah, I agree. So tomorrow, she's proud of the wrong thing. True. So tomorrow, my friends, I am planning to be over on the Tube of You. So I won't be going through the transcripts here, but what I would like to do, and what I'm hoping to be able to do tomorrow, is to start working on how to file a FOIA request from the federal government. So that's the Freedom of Information Act. And any federal agency, you can request information. And so I'm hoping to take everybody through the forms that you can use to do that and how you can ask and what you should ask for if you're interested. So that's my plan, fingers crossed, for tomorrow. Yes, indeed, VC. Yes, yes. So it's time to start. A lot of people are with me here in my off-roading challenge that we're doing. So this is the next piece where we can start digging into the good stuff. Yes, you as well, Debbie, you as well. So thank you everyone for coming by as always and hanging out with me. And, we can trauma bond over this, right? So yes, about 7 o'clock Central, I think will definitely be my regular time from now on. I may have a couple unannounced during the days, but that time period is working the best. So come on over to the tube of you, everyone, and hang out with me tomorrow. You're welcome, Steve. You're absolutely welcome. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for your hard work, moderators. I appreciate you so much. So see you all tomorrow.